All right, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. I'm really excited today. Christine, I saw your background. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh my gosh, Tats, thank you. I was very honored when you guys reached out, and I'm just, here to answer any of your questions. I know it was an interesting pivot, 30 years in television, more than that actually, and now commercial roofing. So whatever you want to know, I'm here for it.
Perfect. Now, looking at your background, broadcast news was your education. So I'm assuming pretty early on you knew what you wanted to do.
Honestly, it was in the fifth grade when a news anchor came to speak to the class, and she said, pretty simply, if you love to talk and you love to write, then you may consider this career. And I'm like, ding, ding, I like to do both. And it was as simple as that. And so, yeah. And then in college, of course, it was a no brainer. I went to University of South Florida in Tampa and said, all right, I'm going to major in broadcast news. And that was pretty much it for me. I really loved it.
I'm curious about the pivot. You spent all these years doing news, and I think you had various shows and I guess sports broadcasting, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Why the pivot?
I was offered a new contract in 2023 for another 3 years. And at that time, there had been so many changes and unfortunately not for the better. And it wasn't just we lost a lot of the spirit in the post-COVID days, not having guests back in the building, Zooming. There was, of course, that, but also I had a 90-minute show, which was very robust. During COVID, of course, we went to 30 because of politics and COVID news. But then 21 came around, 22, 23, and we never even were going back to an hour. So that bothered me. It just suddenly became like all sales, no personality. And some things were happening internally and I just wasn't proud of it anymore. And I was like, I think I'm ready. And it was, my husband's like, okay, it's not like your money doesn't help our family, but you've done it for 14 years. And if you're ready, I know in my heart that I trust your instincts. So I left. And of course, as it would happen, my head knew and my gut knew it was the right decision, but it took my heart a while to catch up. But this great opportunity came up with our friend Dusty DeVore, who started Core Roofing 23 years ago. We're based in Alpharetta. Now we've got offices all throughout, Florida, the Northeast. And we were at an event and it ended up being almost an impromptu interview where he's like, what do you want to do now? And I'm like, I want to help a brand. I want to get their messaging out. And he's like, well, we're looking for a director of business development. Come to the office on Monday. But my husband said, Christine, this is commercial roofing. You don't know anything about it and you don't know anything about business development. You can learn everything, but I don't want you jumping in and then making a mistake because Dusty's a friend. And the more I met with everyone at the office, the more I saw the culture, the more I saw the company that he built. I was proud of it and it was a no-brainer. But also, Tats, here's the thing too, and I'm not going to lie. In the first week, because Dusty was like, yeah, go do your thing. There's no playbook for this role. I was sort of like, okay, this is fun, making it up as I go along. Chat GPT is my friend. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I really don't know what I'm doing. So I had a moment where I had a bad migraine. I came home one night and I was trying to rest. And one thought kept coming into my mind, just do what you know. And I woke up and wrote that down in my phone, fell back asleep. Well, what did I know? TV, content. So immediately I'm like, while I'm ramping up, learning commercial real estate, learning who my clients are, learning who I should target, I'm going to do the one thing I know. And that is spread the word of Core Roofing. So that's what I did. That's really what I'm realizing this is about. My job is truly business development, building that pipeline for our fantastic, sales executives and sales reps. And then I'm trying to create those opportunities where I tee it up for them for new business. So, right now I still know enough to be dangerous, but I'm with every meeting with my team, I'm learning more and more that just helps position us in a way that gets us new business and also helps us retain the great customers that we have.
What was kind of your impression of roofing before? Now that you know a bit more, what is your impression now?
I will say this. Because Atlanta and Company was more B2C, business to consumer, we would have a lot of residential roofers on. And from some, things I learned, some of them were fly by night, they're, you could slap a logo on a white van and suddenly and hit up neighborhoods, but then be out of business in a month. And so that's what I knew about residential roofing. But with commercial roofing, I really didn't know much. So diving into what Dusty has created, and one of the things I loved is the loyalty at core. So he has some guys that have been with him for more than 20 years. He started it 23 years ago. He's got, women that work in the office, in Tampa, in Orlando, in our office in Alpharetta, that have been with him from the beginning. That's what impressed me. And also, honestly, just, if I may say, coming from a place where I hadn't realized kind of how underappreciated I felt, because I got appreciation from the viewers. I didn't necessarily need, I kind of flew under the radar because our company was really focused on news, not so much our show. And that was great because, again, you fly under the radar, you do a good job, but it also can leave you feeling like, hey, don't forget our department. But at core, they genuinely care about everybody: service, maintenance, sales. Again, the receptionist at the front who's booking the appointment. So that, for me, when I saw that level of dedication that you could still have as the company's grown, where it still feels like it's an intimate culture, I was like, sign me up, and the more I learn about what they do, and maybe compared to some of our competitors, the more proud I am.